Once you've finished stitching the front and back of your heart, you're going to stitch them together using blanket stitch or whip stitch. I also like to add the ribbon on at the start so I don't have to interrupt my blanket stitches to deal with the ribbon. So to do that, I tie my ribbon and then I stitch it on with a few small stitches. Here I'm using a single strand of thread in a light blue for a subtle effect. You just want to make sure you're mindful of this ribbon as you're stitching around the edge so it doesn't get caught inside the heart. Make sure to leave a gap for your stuffing. I like to start kind of on the side of the heart so I don't have to deal with the stuffing and the ribbon in the same place. And I also like to mark my end point with a needle or pin. So if you've got an extra needle or pin, you can pop that in there and then you know where to stop your stitching. Starting here, I'm going to do blanket stitch all the way around until I reach that needle. And I'm using one strand of the light floss here. But you can also use more threads if you want your stitches to stand out and be more decorative. And if you really want to create a decorative effect, you can use a contrasting color. You just take one stitch, and then to start off your blanket stitch, you kind of sneak in between your first stitch, and then you continue on with blanket stitch as normal. And that's how you start blanket stitch so that you still have a somewhat crisp 90-degree corner at the beginning of your blanket stitch. And then you stitch all the way around until you reach that needle or your end point, making sure not to stitch your ribbon to the back of your heart, and don't forget to leave a gap for your stuffing. Once you reach the end point, you add the stuffing. You don't need to add all the stuffing in your kit. You can decide how full and how squishy you want the heart to be, and then you close the gap with more blanket stitch or whip stitch. And then to really finish it off, I like to do a few knots on the edge, on some of the edge stitches, and then I just bring the needle through and bring it out any random spot, squeeze the heart a little bit, trim the thread, and then when you let go of the heart, the tail will kind of get sucked into the middle of the thread, and you're done. The final step is to take a photo of your work and add it to the online gallery. Here are some pictures that people have sent in already, and I'd love to see some more. It's really amazing to see how many different things people can make when given the same pieces. So I hope that you have fun with this kit, and I really can't wait to see what you make. Happy stitching!